Hello guys, today's video we're gonna do a Super 2 basic foundation setup number 5. For number 5 we're gonna teach you how to set up the roller on the back and also the long tail on the back. And today's video we're only gonna do very basic setup because there's a lot of different type of setup on the Super 2. It really depends on how you set up your roller. It is a combination, especially a lot of professional people, they have different way to set up their back and the front, so it's really hard for me to make a video to detail cover everything. I'm just gonna give you a very general concept, like for the basic setup. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. I'm gonna using the 19mm roller on the front as a sample to do the setup. Okay, so if you're using a 19mm roller on the front, so the back you have about 35mm space on the back. So this is about 35mm space. So for the best for cover the 35mm for the tail, it is using this one right here. This is the Tamiya item number 15372 FRP support plate setup. So we're gonna using this one as our tail, and of course the brake gonna be right here. Okay, this is gonna be our brake. And for the roller stay, we're gonna do like this. We're gonna set up like this. Okay, so right now we have our tail and the brake and the roller stay. Okay, also before you put this piece on, the tail on, you also need the underguard. The underguard we're gonna using these little pieces right here, and this is the item number 15242, the FI plate for Super X chassis. Okay. So underguard, again, underguard, repeating so many times in my video. Underguard, it is for something which is on the bottom, very bottom, to block the roller. Okay, so as you can see, all my cars have underguard. This is the underguard, another type. Okay, so for the underguard, it is something like a block roller. So it have to cover the roller. So what it does, it is when your car jumps and land on the truck. So if you're caught a little bit offset and get a cut on the side of the truck like this, so underguard gonna protect your roller to get a cut. So it's also giving a fast recovery when your roller get a cut on the side of the truck. So it's gonna be like this, landed and slipped. Okay, so see, your roller cannot get a cut, so because you're hitting the underguard and it's gonna right away slip back to the truck. So this is how underguard does. So if you want to know detail about underguard, just go to my YouTube channel, searching the keyword underguard. You will find a lot of different type of setting I have for the underguard. Okay, so okay, let's go ahead and do the setting. Okay, before you do the setting, so this piece gonna be, you will try to mount as low as possible, but not too low. It really depends how low you're gonna do for the setting. So, but try to mount this piece just a little bit lower. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the underguard first, because underguard the lowest pieces on the bottom. So the underguard, okay, for saving the time, the underguard just gonna give you a really general how to cut it. So in order to make a piece like looks like this for the underguard, you can take this piece right here. This is item number 15242 again. Okay, so we're gonna remove all this right here. Okay, and the same thing right here. Okay, so as you can see, this is the piece. Okay, don't worry about this cutting. This cutting, it is a little bit, you need a little bit professional tool. So, and right here, this little two hole right here. So as you can see on the original pieces, this is just like a regular two hole right here, but you have to drill a little bit like a deeper, so we can let the screw head, which right here, is hide into the FRP, which is right here. So as you can see, after you drill a little bit deeper right here, so you can hide the screw into it. Okay, so in this case we can mounting this piece a little bit lower, because on the regulation you have to at least 1mm clearance your the lowest point away to the ground. So which means this piece right here, the screw head, it is also count. So you will try to mount this piece about 2mm away from the ground. In this case, just be safe, you know. Okay, So next thing we're gonna talk about it is what a tool we're gonna be drill like the deep hole like this one. So we're gonna using this 5mm ground bit, which is right here. So we're gonna go ahead and put on the Dremel, and it's gonna be slowly drill right here. So after taking some time, so it's gonna be looks like this. So see that, but make sure don't drill all the way, okay, because we need to keep a little bit, okay. So in this case we can block the screw head to go to the other side, okay. So it looks like this, okay. So you're gonna drill about like 2/3 of deep, okay. So let's move into the next we're gonna do the setup. Okay, for the setup of this piece and this piece is gonna be a little bit complicated, because the reason why it's complicated because everybody have a different size of wheel. Okay, like me, this is a 25mm wheel. So for the Super 2 chassis, I'm highly recommend most people using 26 or 26.5 or even 27 is fine. And 25, the one I have on my car, it is a little bit too low. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do this underguard first. So I'm going to using the mounting point located right here and here. Okay, 25mm screw right here and right here. Okay, so flip over, and this piece gonna be using this mounting point right here and this mounting point right here on the same side. And then put the 2 aluminum spacer. Okay, then just gonna go ahead and put on it using a screwdriver. So if you feel the space either too long or either too short, you can always adjust it using different type of spacer or either washer, you know, to adjust the height. Because again, every car is different, so it's really hard for me to teach you like what's exactly the size you want it. You have to find out by yourself, because most of the time everybody have a different type of chassis and everybody has a different type of size of wheel. So it's really hard for me to tell you how exactly you have to adjust, okay. But all you have to know, you will try to mount this piece as low as possible. So for the underguard, I highly recommend it is you guys want to keep it's like about 1.5 to 2mm away from the ground, okay. Okay, so let me go ahead just finish this one right here. So okay, here's the setting looks like, okay. So before you move to the next, you have to double check, make sure the clearance on the ground. So my underguard is about 2.6mm away from the ground, okay. And the same thing on the other side, 2.6, okay. And also you have to check about right here. Remember here we have a 2 screw head right here, okay. You also have to check that, because sometimes screw head it is also a problem, because most people they the hole right here, they don't drill really too deep and the screw head stick out too much, and it's gonna be less than 1mm. So I have to double check. So just make sure the screw head is not less than 1mm. So my screw head right here is about 2.2mm, okay, which is pretty safe, okay. So again, on this setting right here, you try to mount the bottom piece as low as possible. I recommend between the 1.5mm to 2mm, okay. So it's really up to your personal, but my personal like keep this thing right here 2mm away from the ground, okay. Just be safe, okay. Next thing I'm going to talk about it is as you can see, I'm using 2 sides of screw right here, because first remember on the video I talked about I'm using 25, and this thing right here it is 20mm. So you better using a little bit shorter screw, but I'm just trying to show you like you can using different size screw. But the only thing it is you have to remember every single time when you're using the setting, make sure the screw it is about right there. Don't using too long, because too long when stick out it's too ugly. So moving to the next, we're gonna using 1 lock nut which is right here, and 1 washer which is right here, and put it right here, my washer right here, and put a lock nut which is right here on top of that. And you're gonna go ahead lock. The reason you want to lock it, you want this thing and it stay tight. A lot of people don't lock this piece, but later on you will know this thing when you keep racing, the vibration gonna keep this thing getting loose. So it's better using lock nut to lock the top like this, so it makes it more safe. And for the extra pieces right here, you have another choice. You can put some kind of like a plastic thing for protection here. Okay, so here's the plastic thing I talked about it. So you're just gonna go ahead to put it right here. This thing have two function. One function it is makes it looks nice. The other function it is because sometimes I catch my car all this sharp stuff we have on the car. If you don't have protection on it, you will scratch your hand, or either you gotta get it injured, like on my hand or this is all get caught. Okay, so anyway, just go ahead, makes nice. I'm not gonna do the other side, and the other side is just like I show you. You have to using a right size of a screw, and in order to make it like the size a little bit like fit to your car. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do it is we're gonna set up the roller stay. Okay, for roller stay you have a couple options. It really depends on what you have on your hand. So the best recommend, of course, it is this carbon fiber 2mm popsicle, which is item number 95007 and the 95008. It's a blue and a red. And this is another pieces. It is 95065. This is gold pieces. It works out well. Okay. So another thing it is another item recommend. It is item number 15495. This is 1.5mm popsicle. So it's come with two as a package. And also this one right here, this is very easy to find on the market. This is item number 15193, FRP reinforced plate set. Basically these two things, it is same different, it is just material. This is carbon fiber, this is fiberglass. Okay, so in order to set up that, and especially on the 1.5mm, this is the popsicle. Okay, it's highly recommend you take two of them and put it together and using some crazy glue to glue them together like this, because 1.5mm by itself it is a little bit too thin and it's really fragile. Unlike the 2mm, 2mm actually it is the perfect size because it is light enough and also is strong enough. Okay, so if you're using a 1.5mm like the carbon fiber popsicle or either the FRP version, you better take two and put some like the crazy glue right here and glue them together, so it makes it a bit stronger. Okay, so next thing we're gonna move to it is the setup that the plate on top of that. So I'm gonna using the 2mm popsicle, which is right here. Okay, so when you set up the roller plate on top of that, make sure one thing, you're gonna cut another extra pieces, which is like this one right here. So this piece actually it is from the center of the popsicle. So as you notice on the popsicle the plate, you're gonna see there's two mounting point which is located right here and right here. Okay, so you're gonna remove this and this. Okay, you're gonna keep the center part, which is this piece right here. And the same thing as 1.5, you will notice you got a right here another mounting point and the mounting point right here. All these mounting point, they are same dimension and same location, which you can see. I put it side by side. Same as this piece right here. They also got the two mounting point, which is located right here and here. So when you put it side by side, they have it. So you're gonna cut the center pieces like this one to take off. Don't worry about the empty design right here. This is I'm using special machine to cut it, so don't worry about it. So you're gonna using the Dremel again, like this one right here. Okay, and putting the cutting bit which right here, and turn the power on and starting to cut it. It's really simple, so I don't really want to do the demonstration because it's kind of wasting time. Okay, so highly recommend to cutting one piece. Okay, either 2mm or 1.5mm. You only need a one piece. Okay, so I gotta using the 2mm. I'm gonna set up right here and make sure you're gonna be this one right here. You have to open a little bit bigger. Okay, so we're gonna using the mounting point, which is locate right here and here. Okay, so in this one we're gonna using a 25mm screw for sure, because later on we're gonna do it in the setting. That's why we have to keep it a little bit longer. So we're gonna be putting right here, and I'm gonna get another one. So it looks like this. Okay, and the next we're gonna take this one right here and put on top of that. Okay, So the reason you're gonna put the little pieces, the partial pieces right here, little pieces right here, because you want to try to keep this thing right here a little bit higher, because this is roller stay. You have to give it a gap about 5 mm between the underguard and the roller stay. Otherwise, when this piece roller stay is too close to the underguard, it's really hard for you to mount a roller, because when roller is too close, it's gonna potentially hit the underguard right here. So that's why I try to mounting this piece a little bit higher than this piece, about 5 mm at least. Okay, so it's gonna be looks like this. Next thing it is, we're gonna using a 2 lock nut, which is right here, to lock this piece on top of the tail. So it's gonna be looks like this. Okay, next we're gonna do the brake setup. So for the brake setup, we're gonna mounting a plate right here to make that brake. So you got a lot of option. You can use this carbon fiber popsicle, which is item number 15495, and also if for more convenience, you can using this item number 15441. And this is the brake sponge set, and it's also come with a fiberglass popsicle, which is right here, and a different type of brake. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it. So we're gonna using this piece as a brake and then put on the back. So for putting this one on the back, actually it's pretty simple. So we're gonna using the 5 mm screw, which is right here, and simply put this one right here. The next we're gonna using a lock nut or regular nut. It's really doesn't really matter. So what you have on your hand. Okay, so it looks like this. Next we're gonna temporarily put some brake, because by regulation you only allow at least a 1 mm clearance on the brake to the ground. So you have to temporarily put a brake. So in this case, you can adjust the height of your sitting. Okay, so I'm gonna just cut a small pieces of brake, which is from here. It's best recommend using a carbon fiber popsicle or either FRP popsicle, and use that as the scale. Okay, so here's the brake. So I'm only gonna put it on the side, two side, which is right here. Okay, and put it on. Next, using a cutter to remove the extra pieces. Okay, so it's gonna be looks like this. And then next, we're gonna put on the setting board again to take a look at how high is my brake right now. So as you notice, my brake it is less than 1 mm, which means it's not really legal. So which means we have to readjust the whole system, because this is the hardest part. It's sometimes really hard for you on the first time to determine how high you want to setting up the the tail right here. Okay, remember earlier we're using 6.7 mm spacer, so which means right now I'm about 0.8 mm away from the ground. So we're gonna switch the spacer to the 6 mm, which is this two right here. Okay, so this is 6 mm, and the one on my car it is 6.7. So we're gonna switch it, try to make it a bit higher. So in this case we can higher a little bit of brake. So in this case we can make the setting on the brakes as being legal. So this is a really complicated procedure, because it's really again, everybody has different size of tire. But anyway, the concept I'm trying to tell you, it is every single time if anything not right, just take it off and reset again. Okay, so actually it's pretty simple, because you have everything set up. All you have to do just swap the spacer right here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do it is I just gonna remove two screws right here. Okay, so here's the whole setting pieces. I'm gonna replace the spacer with 6 mm, which is right here and here. And the next thing we're gonna put it back on again. Okay. Okay, so it's gonna be looks like this. So next thing we're gonna using the gauge again to look at it. Okay, so right now the perfect is about 1.2 mm away, actually 1.4 mm away from the ground. Okay, which means it's perfect. And so this is how it adjusts. So if you feel here's too low, and it's better to using different size of spacer to adjust it. You can using 3mm plus 1.5mm plus some spacer or either washer to adjust the right height you want it. So it's really hard for me to tell you exactly the size, but you can use a different size spacer to adjust the height. So as long as everything's legal, you know what I mean, it's the size dimension. So if you have this thing right here too low, you have to adjust right here to make it a bit higher. Then next thing, we're gonna put the lock nut back and lock the whole thing again. Okay, moving to the next, we're gonna set up a roller. For the roller, it is really you have a different choice. So you can using the motor shaft, which is right here. Okay, this is a motor shaft. Okay, the good thing about motor shaft, it is it's stronger and you can adjust any height you want it. Okay, so for the motor shaft setting, which is applied to this setting right here, you can go ahead search my YouTube channel again. There's a video already teach you how to set the motor shaft. The keyword is motor shaft. Okay, so for the people new, you don't have an experience with the motor shaft, or you want some easy setup, and I'm highly recommend using this item right here, the item number 15454. This is 2mm cap screw set. It's come with 25mm and 30mm. We're gonna using the 30mm as a roller screw. Okay, and again, this pack is really good because this screw and it's really strong. It lasts forever. So it is really highly recommend to the people who's new, and it's very easy. Okay, so this is a 30mm screw right here. Okay, on the back roller, I'm highly recommend using the 19mm and with plastic ring, and do not using a rubber ring, because rubber ring actually it is older school, and the new style we're using a plastic ring or either ringless. So here's a different type of roller I have. So all this is 19mm plastic ring, which you can see the ring is plastic, and you have a different type, the 5-star type, which is right here. Okay, and also we have this type is the most common you can find on the market. Okay, it's like this one. So if you have no choice, just using this one, because all this is limited edition. Okay, or either some ringless like this one right here. This is ringless, it is working as well. Just make sure do not using the rubber ring. Okay, so this is another type, it is ringless but it's solid. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead using, let me see, I'm just gonna using this four right here. Okay, so what you're gonna do, it is you're gonna put it right here. This is the one for the bottom, and next is the roller spacer. So roller spacer, when you buy the roller, they will give you 4 pieces. So this is the roller spacer. Okay, roller spacer right here. Okay, then next we're gonna put into the right mounting point. So on this thing right here, the 2mm popsicle, there's a 19mm mounting point and a 13mm. So we're gonna using the 19mm mounting point, which is right here. So we're gonna put it right here. Just make sure keep the underplay right here, underguard right here, away from the roller. Make sure they don't hit. Okay, so next we're gonna using the spacer to adjust the height. We're gonna using, first we're gonna try 12mm, which is right here, and next we're gonna see how many space left, and we're gonna try using a 6mm. Looks like maybe too much, so let me try the 3mm. Okay, like this. Okay, so next we're gonna put another roller spacer, which is right here, and the top gonna put another roller right here. Okay, so as you can see, maybe it's too short, so we're gonna tuck back and add another 1.5mm spacer. So it's really, you have to adjust little by little, because everybody has different size of a wheel, everybody has different type of chassis. It is really hard for me to tell you how many height you need it, especially the screw, and I'm using 30. Maybe some people like using 38. Okay, so it's really hard, again, it's really hard for me to teach you how many spacer, how big, how size, what size spacer you can using for the adjustment. So you just have to keep try to using the maximum size, you know what I mean. So if you have using, if you have 30mm screw, try to use all 30. Okay, do not using like a part of it. Okay, you try to mount your roller as high as possible because it's more high, it's more stable, but not too high. 30 millimeter actually is very short size screw, so I'm highly recommend if you're using a 30 millimeter like this type of screw, you better mount it like on the highest point. Okay, like this one right here. So we're just gonna go ahead using a lock nut to lock it. So it's gonna be looks like this. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and finish the other side. Okay, I just finished here. So actually I'm using the 12 millimeter and the 6 millimeter spacer right here to mounting my roller. Okay, like this. So when I put it back to dimension box, you will notice my car, it is exactly fit to dimension box. There's no extra part. It is 165 millimeter even. Okay, right here. Okay. Okay, so this is the setting for the back. You will notice really strong. Okay, it's not really fragile. And again, let's review our setting again. So we're using this item 15372 and as a long tail mounting right here. And on the bottom, this is the underguard, which is preventing the roller get a cut, especially the screw head right here. If you don't have this piece to block the screw head, what's gonna happen is screw head is gonna get a cut on the side of the truck like this. Okay, so same as the brake we're using the bundle pack, and for the roller we're using the screw set, which is item number 15454, the 2 millimeter cap screw set. It is the strongest screw Tamiya ever made. So, okay, here's the setting for today. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have a lot of questions about this type of setting, and there's a lot of, it's really hard for me to teach you how to do the different type, because for my personal, I have a different type of setting, like such as this type, like carbon fiber. This is all extend using different parts, so it's really hard. So I'm just trying to teach the beginner racer like the very general and basic like a setup, and at least you can get started. Okay, so this is setup for today. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, just go ahead and leave a comment.